Just 4 days to go.
This must be disqualifying.
Donald Trump attacks Liz Cheney, one of his chief critics, as a war hawk, drawing outrage for this comment.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay?
Plus, we dig into the data in this extremely tight race. More than 68 million Americans have already voted. Who are they? We've got CBS News context and analysis. And it's Friday, so we go on the road with fallen foliage.
In a world where there's so much noise, it just doesn't get much more simple and wholesome than a dog just running and jumping in the leaves.
The CBS Evening News starts now. Good evening, I'm Norah O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us in the home stretch to Election Day. We're kicking off our coverage tonight from our state-of-the-art Election Night studio in New York City's Times Square. As America decides, with just 4 days to go, nearly 70 million votes have already been cast in person or through the mail. Tonight, both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are in battleground Wisconsin, holding dueling rallies about 6 miles apart in Milwaukee. But much of the conversation in the last day of this campaign has been about a woman whose name isn't even on the ballot, former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Trump compared her to a warmonger last night and then leaned into violent rhetoric, suggesting she should see how it feels with 9 rifle barrels pointing at her. Well, Cheney responded today saying this is how dictators destroy free nations. They threaten those who speak against them with death. Cheney has been an outspoken critic of Trump since the Capitol insurrection and has not only endorsed Harris, but has also campaigned with her. Harris calls her a true patriot. We have team coverage beginning with CBS's Nancy Cordes outside Milwaukee, where Harris is campaigning tonight. Good evening, Nancy.
Good evening, Nora. Harris's running mate Tim Walz called Trump's comments sickening today, but Trump is not walking them back. In fact, a short time ago, he went even further, calling Cheney a disgrace and claiming she kills people.
This must be disqualifying.
Standing on the tarmac at the Dane County Airport, Vice President Harris accused her opponent of taking his language to new extremes.
He has increased his violent rhetoric and in great detail suggested rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney.
She was referring to this moment in Glendale, Arizona, in which Trump took aim at Republican Liz Cheney.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cheney is a longtime Trump critic and helped to lead the congressional committee that examined his role in the January 6th insurrection.
No man who would behave that way at that moment in time can ever serve in any position of authority in our nation again. He is unfit for any office.
Even before yesterday, Trump had promoted social media posts calling for Cheney to face a military tribunal. The Trump campaign said today that what Trump meant is that, quote, warmongers like Liz Cheney are very quick to start wars and send other Americans to fight them. But this isn't the first time the former president has used violent rhetoric.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
We asked voters in Waukesha, Wisconsin, what they think.
I believe that when people speak like this, they ought to be put into a parochial school and be punished for it like a 15-year-old would be.
I mean, he can be really kind of nasty on some regards, but I also know that they don't share all the not so nice things when your President Biden says that half this country is garbage.
At a union hall in Janesville this afternoon, Harris tried to steer the conversation back to the economy.
One of the things I'm doing on day one, because I can do it by executive order, is I will eliminate unnecessary degree requirements for federal jobs. And then I will challenge the private sector to do the same.
Harris campaign officials said today that their own internal polling shows that undecided voters in battleground states like this one are breaking their way in the closing days of this race. But they also said that they fully expect Donald Trump to declare victory on election night, no matter where the race stands. Nora?
Nancy Cordes in Wisconsin tonight. Thank you, Nancy. Tonight, the Trump campaign is highlighting the new jobs report from the Labor Department, which shows 12,000 jobs were created last month. Hiring slowed while the country was hit by 2 major hurricanes and tens of thousands of Boeing workers walked off the job. Unemployment was unchanged at 4.1%. The stock market wasn't rattled. The Dow closed up nearly 300 points. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns is covering the Trump campaign tonight.
In the final days of the campaign, it's the battle for the blue wall.
We're going to miss these rallies, aren't we, huh?
Campaigning today in Michigan and Wisconsin, former President Donald Trump is competing for working-class voters in states he won in 2016 but lost 4 years ago. He hit on today's jobs report.
Brand new jobs report proves decisively that Kamala Harris and Crooked Joe have driven our economy off a cliff.
In Milwaukee, where Trump rallies tonight, supporters said inflation matters more than jobs numbers.
What's the biggest issue for you?
Well, we're very concerned about inflation just because we have so many family members. Groceries have just gone skyrocketed.
I go to the grocery store and it's like, wow, the prices are so high now. It's, my car insurance is up.
Earlier today, Trump became the first major party candidate this cycle to visit Dearborn, Michigan, a majority Arab American city outside Detroit.
And these are wonderful people, and I very much appreciate it.
Trump is aiming to capitalize on opposition there to the Biden administration's handling